A very quick introduction as to some of the most interesting resources and results available if you're looking for something on one of the 5 Heat Roadmap Europe 3 countries. And those 5 countries are Czech Republic, Croatia, Italy, Romania, and the UK. And some of the most useful results for each of those countries are, first of all, the individual report and map that was produced for each country. So the report is a very short 10-pager which summarizes the key actions required to decarbonize the heating and cooling sector within that specific member state. And the Heat Atlas supports these findings, which is an online interactive tool where you can zoom in and zoom out to select different pieces of data where you can see how we've come to conclude some of the work that we've developed in the heating and cooling strategies themselves. And the links at the top of this slide, heatroadmap.eu/publications and heatroadmap.eu/maps, are where you can download both the heating and cooling strategy for each country, as well as get access to the online and interactive Heat Atlas. Another very interesting feature that we have available is the summary overview, or the fact sheet, as we like to call it, for each of those countries. And it summarizes some of the most interesting numbers available for each of the countries. The first thing it summarizes that the total heat demand that's currently required in that country. So for example, in Croatia, we can see that the heat demand is 17 terawatt hours per year. Then we can see how much of the heat demand we concluded could be removed due to the cost-effective implementation of heat savings. So for Croatia, we summarized that, we found that that was a 40% reduction in the total heat demand. Then we have also provided a summary of how much district heating we're recommending for that country. So for district heating, you can see we're recommending that they increase the share from 15% today to a level of 40% in the future. And the reason that there's that potential is because the next 2 numbers summarize that there's actually enough excess heat available today in Croatia to provide 12 terawatt hours of heat to district heating systems. And if we compare that to the total heat demand, which is 17 terawatt hours, it just shows the scale of potential there is to replace fossil fuels with excess heat that's available from the other sources like power stations, waste incinerators, and industry, and so on. It's also important to remember here that this 17 terawatt hours is for all buildings, so there's a good probability that the urban areas is probably less than this 12 terawatt hours, which is available via excess heat. The other thing that's very interesting is that if excess heat is not available in the future for some reason, Croatia also has a renewable heat potential of 13 terawatt hours, which could be used on these district heating networks. So there's a lot of heat sources available both today and in the future for a low carbon heat supply within the cities. This is just a quick summary of some of the key recommendations from the heating and cooling strategy for Croatia. And the final part just summarizes the results that if these measures are implemented, then it can reduce the cost, the demand, and the carbon emissions from the Croatian energy system, while at the same time increasing the use of renewables and creating more jobs. There's a fact sheet like this for each of the 5 countries. This one is Croatia. You also have the Czech Republic, Italy, Romania, and the United Kingdom. And these are just some of the quick highlights that come from the national heating and cooling strategies. You can find out more information by visiting the heatroadmap.eu website, and thank you very much for listening.